Hey guys, it's Nibzscape here and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to be killing some Vorkath. This is something that a lot of people have requested. They want to see different builds, different setups against Vorkath. So today I am going to be doing 4 setups. We're going to have a look at a 100k setup, we're going to have a look at a 15mm setup, and then max range and then max melee, and then we're going to compare them, mainly looking at the kills per hour, just to see what sort of GP per hour we can make. We'll also be doing price checks. I'll be running each of them for an hour. As you can see, there's an hour little timer up in the corner. I will note that none of the setups are actually going to include any of the costs of supplies. All the supplies I'm going to track out of this, and then obviously you can work out the costs of each method as well as it goes. So as you can see in my inventory, we have all the necessary things for us to do Vorkath in the first place, all of our resources. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on that, but first things first, we are going to look at the 100k setup. So for the 100k setup, we have gone for, and with, to be honest, most of the range setups, we're going to be using Void. So obviously Void is free to get. It does take a little while, it takes about 10 hours, however, it's completely free, and in most cases, are actually best in slot with Vorkath. Same with the Salve Amulet, that is also free to get. You get it from a quest and a mini quest, and then you just got to imbue it with some Nightmare Zone points. But to be honest, extremely easy to get hold of all of these items, and they're all free. I'm also going to be using the Explorer's Ring. That just gives a little bit of a prayer bonus. We're also going to be using the OSRS Assembler. Technically, it's free and untradeable, but to get it in the first place, you do need a Vorkath head, which in itself is kind of free to get. You just got to kill Vorkath. But you also need to spend, I think it's around about 6k total costs. So we'll bear that in mind when we actually do our price check. Weapon-wise, we're actually going to be using a rune crossbow, and to be honest, it's quite effective. I've actually used this setup before, and it's pretty powerful and surprising. So rune crossbow, we're going to have the Slayer staff. This is only to auto-cast Crumble Undead. It's kind of like a quality of life thing, this. I don't need it. However, it just makes it easier, so I might as well, and it's relatively cheap, so obviously we've got that. We've also got snakeskin boots, a pretty nice range +3 in range attack bonus for something that literally costs pennies. And then obviously for our shield, we've got an anti-dragon shield. Obviously we're going to be using Diamond Bolt E and Ruby Bolt E. Obviously I'm not going to bear this cost in mind, but you can easily do this setup within 100k including supplies. I've actually done it in the past. I've done a live stream where I had a similar setup. But we're going to have a quick price check on all these items. So obviously we've got like 6k roughly for the OSRS Assembler. The shield's 97 GP, 132 GP for the snakeskin boots. The Slayer staff's actually relatively expensive at about 21k. And then obviously we have the rune crossbow at just under 10k. And also if you then count in the OSRS Assembler, that comes to roughly about 37k, which honestly ain't bad at all for a setup. So yeah, I guess next thing up, we're going to gear ourselves up, get ready to go, and yeah, I'll start the timer for an hour. We'll do an hour of Vorkath, and then we'll come back and I'll do my price check. Okay, so obviously the timer is going. We are killing Vorkath with our 100k setup, and I've got to move from that, otherwise I'm going to end up killing myself. But yeah, I mean, I can't really complain. It's a 100k setup at the end of the day. It's going to be longer kills. It's going to be a lot longer kills, but it's a 100k setup, and we're actually killing Vorkath. It's pretty incredible, to be honest. Okay, so our first kill came in around about the 3-minute mark. So a little bit of a lengthy kill, but to be honest, it wasn't too bad. We're actually going in for a 2-kill trip here, which for a 100k setup is pretty decent, to be fair. One thing I will note as well is that I'm actually not using Rigger. Obviously, it's quite expensive using Rigger. To unlock Rigger, I think it's around about 20 mil or something at the moment. So we will be using Eagle Eye with these lower setups, and then obviously with the max setups, then we will be using Rigger. Okay, so that is our second kill just coming in now. And 4 minutes 28 seconds. That was a lengthy kill. We used a lot more food on that one. But yeah, I mean, we might get another. I reckon we'll get another kill in. I'm gonna go for another kill. We've got a little bit of food. If we get unlucky like we did on that one, then it might be a bit of a struggle, but we should be good. We'll try it anyway. And that is kill number 3. So we actually managed to get a 3-kill trip in. which ain't too bad. That was a 2-minute 30-second kill, so that wasn't as bad as that first one. Okay, so we literally have 10 seconds left, and Vorky is pretty much dead. Hopefully we can finish him off in the time. So there we go, the 1 hour's finished, and we managed to get 15 kills, which isn't too bad, to be honest. Yeah, so I'll tell you out now, we'll work out the costs. So yeah, we'll work out the supply costs on the 100k setup, and then we'll work out exactly what profit we made. But to be honest, I was pretty surprised. We were getting like 3 kill trips. I think one of them was a 2 kill trip because I got a bit unlucky. But, I mean, overall, it was pretty decent. 15 kills in an hour ain't bad at all. Okay, so for the supplies, we ended up using 6 lore runes, 90 dust runes. We used 5 anti-venoms, 3 dose. We used 5 extended anti-fires, 2 dose. We only used 3 prayer potions. I was flicking here and there where I could. Obviously, we used 6 divine potions, 35 manta ray. We actually did get a manta ray drop, which topped it up a bit. So we actually ended up only using 35 over the full hour, and 17 cranbrams. Also, we used 47 diamond bolts, and then we used 90 ruby bolts. But we were using the ruby bolts probably down to around about 20%. So that's why we used so many of them, obviously, because even down at 20%, when you spec with a ruby bolt, it was hitting way more than my max hit with the diamond bolts. But the total cost, to be honest, that is not bad at all. But the total cost for an hour was 172k. So what I'm going to do with all these supplies, I'm just going to quick sell them all, and then we're going to minus out the costs. I think that's probably the best way to work this out. So the total money made in this hour with the 100k setup was just over 1.7 mil, which is absolutely insane. Obviously, we'll add all that in, and then we'll minus out our cost, which is 172,288. So the total profit with a 100k setup was 1.5 mil, which is absolutely insane. That is crazy. That's actually honestly blown my mind. That's amazing money. And bear in mind, I obviously do have 99 range, but we were only using Eagle Eye, 100k setup. Jesus Christ, that is absolutely insane. But next, we are going to look at the 15 mil setup. So, for the 15 mil setup, to be honest, once again, we are going to be using Void to our advantage. Obviously, it's free, so we might as well. It's also best in slot for most things when it comes to Vorkath. We're also going to be using the Arthur's Assembler. As I said, that's about 6-7k to use that, so we'll be wielding that. And obviously the Salve Amulet, again, another free item, easy to get. The only big changes is obviously our weapon, our boots, and we've also got a spec weapon as well now. So basically we're going to be using the Toxic Blowpipe. The Blowpipe is a very, very good weapon, very, very fast attack rate. It's going to speed up our kills massively. Obviously there is a nerf coming out at some point for the Toxic Blowpipe, but to be honest, it's only going to reduce it by about 10 to 15%. It will reduce it for Vorkath, especially with defense, but we're still going to be using the spec weapon to reduce his defense anyway, so it won't affect it massively, but it will affect it, don't get me wrong, but not as much as you might think. Obviously, we've also got Bandos D-Hide boots. What we'll do is we're going to chuck it all into the price checker just to show you that it's well under 15 mil. The most expensive item is actually the defense reducing spec weapon, which is going to be the Bandos Godsword. This is currently sitting just under 9 mil, which is quite expensive, but it definitely benefits you massively. The Blowpipe is 3.1 mil. And then obviously the Bandos boots, they're coming in around about 500k, so very cheap, but also gives a very good range attack bonus. So yeah, I mean the total price check's well under our 15 mil. It's actually 12.5 mil. Very close to being able to use an archer ring, but they currently sit around about 3.6 mil, so it would take us up to about 16 mil, unfortunately. But overall, it's not too bad. Obviously, we got the Slayer staff as well, which is 20k there. And then obviously the accumulator, if you want to add that in, that would be another 6 or so k. But well within our 15 mil price range. Obviously, I've got my darts and Zulrah scales here. We're going to be using rune darts. I think that's probably going to be the best way to go for Vorkath. I'm not going to include them in the price check. These will be more of our running costs, but obviously we'll work all that out at the end. And our first kill is coming in, and to be honest, that felt pretty fast. What was that? 1 minute 52. So yeah, straight away we're increasing our kills, but we're going to go in with another kill, see how well that goes. Okay, so that was the second kill coming in, and 2 minutes 23. So once again, pretty decent to be honest. And to be honest, we're taking a lot more damage is the only issue I'm finding at the moment. That was only a 2-kill trip, and I'm probably going to have to bank here. So, yeah, we're going to probably be looking at maybe like 2-kill trips, but they're going to be a lot faster for 2-kill trips. So, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we are coming up to the very last 10 seconds now. And to be honest, it's been pretty chill. We might as well finish off this Vorkath kill because he is literally pretty much dead. We'll stop the timer. And is he going to die in time? Oh no, one more acid phase. No! Oh, you are joking me. No, what the fuck? That was a pretty poor end to the old time, but we ended up with 20 kills. That would have been 21, but I did die. What I'm going to do, I think, is rather than use the profit we've already made, I think I'm going to use my platinum tokens I kept to one side, just so it doesn't affect any of the profit per hour or anything like that. Okay, so we've collected our stuff, and we'll tally to the G, and we'll do our price. We'll do the price check on the supplies first. It was definitely a lot faster. Obviously, we got a lot more kills. We got 20 kills this hour, which is 5 more than the rune crossbow. It should have been 6 more. Obviously, I messed up at the end. But to be honest, it was a lot faster. There was a lot more banking. I was only getting 2-kill trips. I don't think I even got a 3-kill trip in the end. But they were definitely a lot faster. Most of the kills are around about the 2 to 2.5 minute mark, which is a lot faster than the rune crossbow. But anyway, we'll work out the supplies. So for the supplies used, we used 7 extended anti-fires, 114 manta ray, 7 3-dose anti-venoms. We used 28 cooked ground worms, 6 divine ranging potions. We only used 2 prayer potions, obviously because we were only in there for a short amount of time before teleporting out. Chaos runes, we only used 46. We actually didn't get a chaos rune drop, so it didn't top it up. Lore runes, we got 12. We used of them. And then the main cost from this, the massive cost is obviously going to be the OSRS scales, which is very expensive, and then the rune darts. So the total supply cost for an hour, this is actually very surprising, but yeah, the supply cost is 762,000. So what we'll do now is we'll sell all the stuff we have, which we collected from Vorkath, and then we'll work out our profit. Okay, so everything is sold, and we made a total of 2.4 mil. However, obviously we have the big costs to come out of this, so we'll chuck it into the price checker, and then we'll remove the supply cost, which is 762,946. Minus that out, and that means a total profit of 1,685,000, which isn't too bad at all. Obviously, it was a lot more kills per hour, so bear that in mind. Obviously, the supply costs are a lot more than the rune crossbow, but I think it probably is worth it long term. Obviously, you're going to get a lot more kills in, and then you get a higher chance of hitting some of those big item drops, in particular, obviously, the skeletal visage. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely very good, but I'm very, very intrigued to see what happens now with the max setup. So obviously we'll do the max melee method next, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna have to restock up and resupply. So for the max melee setup, it's almost max. I couldn't quite get max. I didn't actually have enough money in the bank, but it is pretty close. We're obviously going to be wearing the Nibzscape not face guard, which is obviously the best of the slot helmet. We've got then full bandos. We've got primordial boots, ferocious gloves. We've got the berserker ring. That's only because I haven't quite got max. Obviously, we haven't got the inferno cape. We've got a fire cape for now. Dragon hunter lance, which is obviously the best in slot melee weapon for Vorkath. We're obviously still using the salve amulet. Obviously, that's going to give us 20% bonus. The only thing that isn't max, which I I didn't quite have the money for in the bank is the Avernic Defender, so we're going to be stuck with the Dragon Defender, which is still very, very good, and it's going to do us quite well. Obviously, we've also got the Rada's Blessing, which is just free. And for the spec weapon, we're going to be using the Bandos Godsword. What I will do as well is just chuck it all into the price checker, or chuck everything that I can put into the price checker to see how much money it comes to. Okay, so what I can actually put into the price checker comes to 152 mil. And the 3 items I couldn't add into them, one of them is 4 mil, the other is, this is quite expensive now I think, 18 mil, and then the Berserker ring comes to around about 2.2. Total value of all of this comes to about 177 mil, which is quite a lot of money, so hopefully we should see some decent kills per hour. Which I reckon we will. I haven't really done a lot of melee, so I might be a little bit shaky at first. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long to get into the swing of things. So here we are. Obviously, I will be using Piety. If you aren't using Piety with this sort of gear, then yeah, then you're definitely doing something wrong. So we will be using Piety, Protect from Mage. And yeah, let's see how well this goes. I imagine it should be pretty decent. Oh, I haven't got enough inventory slots to wield my... wield my first weapon, but it's all good. Let's get in there. Let's get this going. Okay, we are on the last kill, probably. Although saying that, we have run out of anti-fire. We're running out of combat potions, so we might not be able to get this kill in. But it's going to be clutch. We're going to give it a go anyway. I've got no food left either. 65 HP. It's definitely going to be a clutch finish, but we might be alright. If not, I'm a bit screwed because I've got a lot of stuff down there on the floor. And I'm getting absolutely pounded now. Jesus. Alright, this is not good. Let's try and pick up the last of our remnants of stuff. And before I die, let's teleport out. The timer's going off anyway. But yeah, there we go. We ended it on 25 kills. And honestly, it wasn't bad at all. I was a bit worried about melee because I haven't really done it that often. But in all fairness, it was pretty good. And yeah, 25 kills is very good. We were getting around about 4 to 5 kill trips. And I don't think we used that much in supplies as well, so it'd be good to work all that out, which we'll do now. 19 crown worms. We actually got a manta ray drop, so we only used 37 of them, and then 6 divine combat potions. So the total cost comes to 268k, so not a lot to be honest. But yeah, we'll have a look and see how much money we made. What we'll do is we'll sell the goods and then minus that cost from it. So, 1 hour of melee Vorkath, max setup, pretty much, a little bit under max setup, but pretty close. We ended up with 2.9 mil, which is absolutely insane. That's some crazy money there, as probably expected. But obviously, if we minus our costs, which were 268,477, that comes to a total profit of this hour of 2.6 mil. Which is a lot more than any of the other ones we've done so far. But obviously it does cost a lot to go in max melee. But yeah, nah, so far that was quite impressive, and hopefully the max range is decent as well, so we'll do that one next. So for the max range setup, we are going to be using, again, range void, because obviously that's pretty much best in slot for all of the range in for Vorkath. We're also going to be using the Pegasian boots. Obviously, again, the Arva's Assembler. We've also then got the Dragonfire Ward, an Archer's Ring imbued, and the big weapon which we're going to be using is the Dragon Hunter Crossbow. And obviously we're going to be using Ruby Dragon Bolts E and Diamond Dragon Bolts E for our ammo. So I'll run a quick price check on the item. So obviously the Dragon Hunter Crossbow is very expensive, 98 mil at the moment. The Dragonfire Ward comes to about 17.5. Pegasian Boots, 36. Obviously I can't price check the Arva's Assembler, but that's about 7k. So that's a total of 152. So a check on the Archer's Ring. The Archer's Ring currently sells for about 3,652,000. So that and the other gear comes to a total cost of 155, just under 156 mil. Which is slightly cheaper than the melee setup, so hopefully the money should be pretty good. Obviously we're going to be using a lot more costs with the Dragon Bolts, but yeah, hopefully it should be pretty decent still. Whew, that was a clutch one, but we literally just managed to get the kill in. And yeah, that's our first trip done, 4 kills, pretty fast kills. That was a bit of a slow one, 2 minutes. But to be honest, not too bad at all. One thing I will quickly add as well is obviously with this max setup, I am using rigger. Obviously, if you have got max gear, chances are you've probably got the 20 mil you need or so to spend on rigger, and it's 100% worth it as well because it really does speed up your kills. But yeah, so far, one trip done, and pretty decent, very fast, and yeah, can't wait to see how much money we've made at the end of this hour. Okay, so this is probably going to have to be my last kill, because I've literally got a minute, and I have to bank, so I'm pretty much just going to stop the timer here. But yeah, I reckon it's easier than melee, definitely easier than melee. Obviously, I think it's going to cost a little bit more. We actually got 26 kills, so that's one more than the melee setup. I was walking in the melee setup, whereas I was only doing it a little bit with this setup, so you probably could increase this by maybe another kill per hour. I almost got another kill in, had almost time for another kill anyway. But yeah, we'll go back and price check all of our stuff. Okay, so what we'll do is, first off, we're going to price check all of our supplies we used. And then manta ray, we did actually get a drop of 52 manta ray, so that tops it up a bit. But in the end, we did use 83 manta ray. So the total price check of the costs, the supply costs for the max range setup comes to 371, which actually is not as much as I was expecting. And we did get an extra kill per trip, so it probably does work out probably quite close to the amount of money from the max melee setup. But we're going to go into that into a little bit more detail in a minute. So what we're going to do is exactly the same as before, sell all of our stuff, and then take out the cost to work out our profit for this hour. Okay, so for the total money made in this hour period with the max range setup was 2,954,000. Obviously, we'll chuck that into the price checker, and then we'll minus out our costs, which was 371,744, and that makes a total profit in the max range setup as 2.582 mil. Obviously, you can't completely just go off the profit. It's mainly about the kills per hour against the costs of running. However, obviously, it is slightly less costs with the melee method. Obviously, we did actually manage to get an extra kill with the range method, so we'll go over a little review over all of the gear setups now, so I'll see you there. So I'm going to go over a little review over the 4 setups now. So obviously starting with the 100k setup, which honestly kind of blew me away a little bit. It was way better than I was expecting. We actually managed to get 15 kills within the hour, which is actually pretty decent. Obviously the running costs were very cheap as well. It only came to 172,288, which honestly isn't bad at all, and anyone can get their hands on a 100k setup, so yeah, very surprised with that one. Next up, we'll have a look at the 15 mil setup. So obviously this was very good. It did increase our kills to 20. Could have been 21, but obviously I accidentally died at the end. So even looking at that, 20 to 21 kills per hour is very, very good. However, the big thing that lets this one down is the supply cost. The running cost of scales and darts is absolutely insane. So the supply cost actually came to 762,946. Which is by far the most out of all of them. But you are getting a lot more kills per hour, so if you can afford it, it probably is worth it. So next up, we're going to have a look at the max melee. Obviously, it was very expensive, but we did obviously increase our kills to 25 per hour, which is a massive increase. And the running costs were very, very low at 268,477. So this is definitely a very, very viable method. But next we'll look at the range method. So for the max range, we actually upped the kills ever so slightly. We got 26 kills in the hour, which is a lot better. However, the running costs were slightly higher. It actually came to 371,744. In my opinion, it was slightly easier range. You definitely take a lot less damage, and it seems semi-AFK. Obviously, it's not AFK, but it kind of had a little AFK feel about it. Overall, if you've got the money, obviously you're going to go for the max setups. Which one you go for is kind of player dependent. It depends on what you feel like. But the 100k setup, honestly, was the big standout for me. Knowing you can go into Vorkath with literally no money is absolutely insane. But yeah, that's pretty much rounds up this review. So there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It helps the channel out massively. And as always, I'll see you next time. Peace out.